Who will do that, something like that, to this sweet old lady? Who will do that to her? She didn't deserve it.
No, she didn't. I don't know. I don't know. She didn't deserve that. My mother was a Christian woman. She's a good woman. She did not deserve that. No. My mom is not gone. Please, God, please tell me she's not gone.
On a late summer's evening in 2015, a woman named Judy Schult received a phone call so disturbing it would prompt her to drive straight to the home of her 79-year-old mother, Ora Lea Hawkins. There she would find the house empty and in darkness, save for the dim glow of a nightlight in her mother's living room. When her knocks went unanswered, a distressed Judy returned home. Within days, however, she would learn the real reason her mother's house had been in darkness and just how close she had been to intercepting the horrific events that had been unfolding right there, just feet from her. Welcome to Fear Files, where we discuss and dissect the most mysterious, terrifying, and mind-bending cases from all over the world. Before we start, we would like to send our heartfelt sympathies to the loved ones of Ora Lea Hawkins, who fell victim to the abominable acts described in this case. This story takes us to the small town of St. Cloud in Osceola County, Florida, just a 30-minute drive from downtown Orlando. Situated on the southern shore of Lake Topohalika, St. Cloud lies surrounded by lush marshlands, waterways, and lakes. Not surprisingly, recreation in this quiet, laid-back community revolves largely around fishing, boating, and nature hikes. But in 2015, this quiet town would find itself thrust into the glare of the media spotlight, and for the worst reasons imaginable. On the evening of September 19, 2015, the phone rings at the home of 47-year-old Judy Schult. Judy recognizes the voice at the other end of the line as that of her mother, 79-year-old Lea Hawkins. Yet the woman who is speaking sounds nothing like the person Judy has known for her entire life. Lea is crying uncontrollably, so much so that Judy can hardly understand what she's saying. She hears something about a trip to Colorado with someone by the name of Rose from church, and that she'll be gone for 6 months. Before Judy can question her or even process the bizarre information, her mother has hung up. Panicked, Judy jumps in her car and within minutes is pulling up in the driveway of her mother's Lakeshore Drive home. At the sight of the house, however, her sense of dread just deepens. The house is in near total darkness, save one dim light coming from the mother's living room. Judy rings her sister, 44-year-old Amy Day. Amy has been living with her mother since her divorce 5 years earlier. Amy tells Judy that she's just received a similar call from her mother, but Amy is 150 miles away in Chiefland, Gainesville, with her fiancé. She tells Judy that she'll be home at 11:30 a.m. the next morning and will call her when she's 15 minutes away. By 11:15 the following morning, Judy is already waiting in her mother's driveway. All night she's been trying her mother's cell phone. She's also phoned Leah's sister in North Carolina and her friend Maria and anyone in the community who might know where her mother is. No one has heard from Lea. Disturbingly, the church pastor says he knows of no one in his congregation by the name of Rose. At 11:25, Amy finally phones to say that she is minutes away from the house. But 2 minutes later, the front door opens. It's Amy. No car has pulled up and no one has walked up the driveway. Amy says that she had been dropped off by her boyfriend shortly before Judy arrived. It's typical behavior for Amy. But right now, Judy has more important things to think about, like finding her mother. The two sisters search the house. The home is immaculate, as it always is. It's also empty. All of their mother's personal belongings have been removed. Her toiletries, vitamins, her phone and laptop, and Leah herself is nowhere to be seen. The closet in the spare room had been emptied of her winter clothes, and several suitcases were gone from a garage. To anyone who didn't know their mother, it might look like the home of someone who had packed up and gone to Colorado. But Judy and Amy know better. Leah would never book a weekend away without Judy's help, let alone a 6-month trip. She'd never miss Christmas with her grandson James. And even if she had left on emergency business, why was she not answering her cell phone? At 2 p.m. on Sunday, September the 20th, Judy rings the Osceola County Sheriff's Department to report her mother missing. Let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsor who made today's video possible, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is the most successful game in the RPG genre with a massive daily player base of more than 1 million players, and soon you'll see why. Raid is the closest thing you can get to a console-level experience on your phone. The start of any game is always the toughest, but when you join today, you'll get a head start with a ton of freebies, including the game's newest addition, Deliana, the legendary champion from the High Elves faction. Deliana is one of the strongest support champions in the game. Raid's currently running a special Deliana Chase event, where you can get the amazing Deliana just by logging in. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 20th, and you'll get Deliana for free. That's it. And she can be unlocked by all players, new and veteran. Plus, if you enter the promo code MyDeliana, you'll get 50 XP brews to instantly get your legendary hero Deliana to max level 50. The promo code with bonuses only available for new players. This month, Raid also has special events every day, including a new event for the summer solstice. There are also new champions and a set of skins for the amazing Trunda Guilt Mallet. So click on the description or scan the QR code here, and you'll get all these unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion, Vergis, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard. Just click the link in the description and we'll see you there. These rewards available only for the next 30 days and only for new players. The news of Ora Lea Hawkins' disappearance shakes the small community of St. Cloud. The Hawkins are a well-known family in Osceola County where they have lived for decades. Leah's ex-husband was the former sheriff's captain for the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Her youngest daughter, Amy Day, spent 19 years working for the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, a role that required her to greet political figures to the Orlando International Airport, including several U.S. presidents. By 2015, Leah is enjoying a well-earned retirement not far from one of the town's picturesque lakes. She is in good health and still active. Most mornings, she takes a 30-minute walk before driving her grandson James to school or visiting a friend for coffee. Every Sunday, she attends local church. Afternoons are often spent relaxing on the porch and reading the Bible, which is exactly what she is doing on the afternoon of Sunday, September 19th, while her grandson James and his dad Mark mow her lawn, just hours before she will be savagely murdered in her own home. Officers arriving at the home of Leah Hawkins on Sunday, September 20th, are quick to realize the scene has been staged. Under Leah's bed, they find her laptop and iPad. Her missing suitcases are located in the attic of the house, filled with the winter clothes that she had supposedly packed for Colorado. One case contains her watch, sunglasses, library card, and legal documents, as well as torn-up checks and, chillingly, zip ties and a used roll of duct tape. Her toiletries and vitamins are found flung behind the back fence. In a locked travel bag, they find her driver's license, keys, and credit cards. But the worst discovery was yet to come. On the afternoon of Monday, September 21st, a team of forensic investigators noticed something unusual in the garden. What appears to be a freshly dug flower bed full of brightly colored flowers. When they move in to take a closer look, they realize the flowers scattered across the freshly turned soil are fake. Investigators had just discovered the gruesome final resting place of Ora Lea Hawkins. Leah had been brutally murdered. Her body had been wrapped in garbage bags and a pink blanket, then bound in rope and a long white coaxial cable. 3 zip ties bind her hands in front of her body, and duct tape has been wound around her arms and torso. An autopsy will later reveal that Leah had been severely beaten around the face and head. She had a spotting pattern of bruising across her lips consistent with someone holding a hand over her mouth. Medical examiners conclude that the beating itself was not sufficient to cause her death, but that she was likely suffocated, possibly via the trash bags placed over her head. It's a horrific discovery, an unthinkable act committed against a vulnerable elderly lady. Who would do such a thing? While crime scene investigators have been sifting through the evidence in the Hawkins family home, digital forensic experts have been examining Leah's digital footprint. In the days leading up to her death, they find that Leah went on quite a shopping spree. On Saturday the 19th, she spent over $1,000 online at Walmart. She also made multiple bank transfers and, on the morning of Saturday the 19th, a withdrawal of $400 from a nearby ATM. Police pulled surveillance footage from that ATM. Leah, they know, was still alive at this point, but the person withdrawing the money from the ATM that morning was not Leah, but her roommate and youngest daughter, Amy Day. On Monday, September the 21st, Amy Day is taken into an interrogation room at the Osceola County Sheriff's Department for a formal interview. That interview will last over 8 hours.
Well, we did find your mom. She's been out the house the whole time, but she's dead.
What? No. No, 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 no!
She was buried in the backyard the whole time, and flowers placed on top of her.
No! No! My mom is not gone. Please, God, please tell me she's not gone.
Before we go on any further, let's fill in some gaps. By 2015, Amy Day's life had been on a downward spiral into calamity for several years. In 2009, while working for the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, her increasingly erratic behavior had prompted airport officials to order her to take a fit-for-duty exam. Amy, you see, had developed a dependence on pain and anti-anxiety medication. While the test did not detect illegal drugs, Amy accepted a $20,000 severance check and resigned after 19 years of service. In May 2010, a glowing reference from a former director of the GOAA helped her secure a job as a 911 dispatcher for the Osceola County Sheriff's Department. But just 3 months into the job, Amy was arrested on DUI charges. She'd crashed her car and had been found strung out and slurring. She managed to keep her job until August, when she was arrested twice in as many days, once again for driving under the influence. Amy was let go from the Sheriff's Department and sentenced to 22 days in jail. Blood tests during her arrest revealed high levels of 4 different pain and anti-anxiety medications. That same year, her husband, Bobby Day, a 5-term Osceola County property appraiser, filed for divorce. Bob himself was no saint. In 2006, he had been removed from office and sent to prison for 6 months after being convicted of 2 counts of felony grand theft after misusing public funding. By the end of 2010, Amy was back living at her mother's. No records show that she held any form of employment after that. Instead, she took to living off of her mother Leah's modest income and stealing from her when she needed a bit extra. She also stole from her sister Judy, breaking into her house one Christmas and cleaning it out of cash. But even with the help of theft, By 2015, Amy Day was in dire financial straits. During their search of the house, officers discovered that Amy had received multiple letters from banks and other enterprises demanding money. She had credit card debt to the amount of $13,000 and numerous letters from a rent-a-car company demanding money for damages. Her checking account contained just $1.87. During her interview with police, Judy told detectives the very last time she had seen her mother, they had discussed problems Lea was having with Amy. Lea told her that she suspected Amy of stealing a valuable coin collection. She was tired of the stealing and the lies, she told Judy, and the constant requests for money.
Has your sister done anything before?
Well, when my mom was over at the house Saturday during the day, we were talking about her, if he only knew what she has said or done to me.
In other words, Amy wouldn't stand to benefit if Lea was officially considered dead, only if she was dead and people, however, believed that she had mysteriously up and left for a new life in Colorado. During her September 21st interview with homicide detectives, Amy repeats the account she gave to officers the previous afternoon, when her sister had first reported their mother missing. She had also given officers her cell phone.
When was the last time you heard from your mom?
Between 8:20, 8:25.
That's when you received that phone call where she was a little bit, you said she was crying.
She wasn't bawling, she was just kind of more of a, it was like a whimper, type, and, she told me she loved me, and that she would call me as soon as she got a chance. I took it as she was going to miss me, or, I didn't read too much into it.
Amy is asked about Kerry Glisson. She explains that he is her fiancé and they have been dating for 2 years. The pair will soon move together to Ohio so that Amy can start a new job as a paralegal for a law firm. She'd already made plans for them to stay with their friend Melissa Smith, who lives there, until they could find their own place. Amy's timeline, in regards to her mother's strange phone call, matches that of her sister Judy's. She also has an alibi for the evening of the 19th. However, in the hours since giving her first statement to police, detectives have dug into her phone records, her online activity, her movements, and her alibi. And let's just say that Amy's stories are a little problematic. When police examine Amy's phone records, they find no evidence of an incoming call from her mother's phone on the evening of September 19th. They also find no records of her having tried to call her mother's phone repeatedly, as she had claimed to have done. Meanwhile, her SunPass, Florida's prepaid toll pass and the one that she says she keeps in her handbag, does not register her passing through any turnpikes to Chiefland.
For your phone, the last phone call that you ever did to your mom was on September 18th, which was Friday night, just before 11 o'clock at night. Will you be surprised about that? It's based on your phone information.
Very. And I know that I called my mother's cell phone book after the 18th.
Left in Kerry's car, which is and he didn't pay the toll. He went through the e-pass section, right? I would like to know what you would say if I told you that the last time that account was used was earlier this month, and there's absolutely no record of him going through e-pass.
I can't give you an answer, but
Okay.
Because I don't understand, but it does surprise me.
You just to be completely honest with us.
And that's what I am. I'm being completely honest with you.
Police now know that a total of $7,262 was transferred from Leah's accounts into various accounts and credit cards belonging to Amy Day during her final days of life. She'd been worried about her not having enough money in Ohio, Amy says. Lea had even bought Amy a $369 round-trip ticket to Ohio, leaving that very day, September 21st. And she had splurged on a few things for herself at Walmart. Amy now realized that she had forgotten to mention to the detectives on the morning of September 19th she had stopped by an ATM. It was all very confusing, she knew, but she was trying to help the officers out.
I can't remember everything when I'm that tired. I'm trying everything I can to give y'all all the information that you need, be completely truthful with you, and try to remember everything. Sometimes I can't. But my mom giving me money is not anything that's unusual.
What do you think Carrie's going to say when we contact him?
He's going to tell you that he paid for the tolls and doesn't know why his son pass didn't register.
Amy's whole alibi was about to collapse spectacularly beneath her feet. The man who answers the phone number given to police for Carrie turns out to be an Orlando Utilities Commission employee who has never heard of Amy Day. When detectives speak to the real Carrie Glisson, well, this is what Amy's fiancé has to say.
All right.
Me and Amy had a relationship, but it was always out on the table that we weren't exclusive or anything like that. Whenever she came over and whatnot, it was just, we were just friends.
Yeah.
We were always friends, and that's just what it was. And it was always said that way. It was always talked about that way. And I told her that if I ever wanted to get serious with anybody in my life ever again, it would be with my ex-wife.
Yeah, I gotcha.
According to Amy's logic, why make your alibi about a friend when they could be a fiancé with a black Mustang? But there's another problem with Amy's alibi as well. Carrie tells police he hasn't seen Amy in well over a month, and certainly not last Saturday night. He did speak to her on the phone, however, not long after Judy reported her mother missing.
She called me, she was a little distressed, and asked me if I would call law enforcement and tell them that I picked her up at 5 o'clock and dropped her off at 11:30, or she was going to be arrested.
Okay, when she told you this, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that she was having another DUI problem.
And what was your response to her?
I told her absolutely not. Yes, I said, there's no way that I could call them and lie to them. And I said, I wouldn't do it anyway. I said, but just so you know, there's no way that they can get away, that I can get away with that.
Word spread fast through the community about the gruesome murder of Ora Lea Hawkins. Soon, police have Melissa Smith on the phone, the childhood friend of Amy's who was accommodating her when Amy makes her big move to Ohio ready to start the new job. Melissa tells police that she is shocked by the news of Leah's death, but not for the reasons you might think. Melissa was about to drop a bombshell. Amy had phoned Melissa to tell her that her mother Leah had died, she said. But that phone call had come on Friday, September the 18th, the day before Leah had gone missing, when Leah was still very much alive and well. As for Amy's job in Ohio, she had never managed to train as a paralegal due to her drug abuse issues, and Melissa had pulled the plug on the work she'd offered her several months prior. At this point, it is impossible to tell whether Amy is deluded enough to think officers might still believe her. From her first interview, she locked herself into one easily disprovable lie after the next, and yet, even when confronted with the summation of her insane stories, she remains indignant to the end.
You know what the issue is, I think, is the lack of logic that's going into what you're saying. That's the biggest problem, because that looks like you're hiding something.
I know.
And
I'm not.
On the evening of Monday, September 21st, Amy Day was arraigned by police at the Osceola County Sheriff's Department, the same agency where her father, Captain Ed Hawkins, had worked for nearly 20 years. She is later charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and aggravated abuse of the elderly in relation to her 79-year-old mother's death.
Today in court, we learned about what happened in those days leading up to the mother's death. Accused of a gruesome crime, Amy Day sat before a jury in Osceola County on Tuesday. In September 2015, investigators say Day killed her mother, Ora Lea Hawkins, and then buried the body in their backyard in St. Cloud. In court Tuesday, Day's sister, Judy Schult, described the last phone call she had with her mom.
Very, very upset. She was crying uncontrollably.
Schult says her mom explained she'd be gone 6 months on a trip with a friend, something that seemed strange to Schult.
I asked her what was wrong, what was going on, that she wouldn't be gone through Christmas. She wouldn't be gone that long away from her grandson.
After that, Schult says she searched her mom's house and reported her missing. Days later, she found her mother's belongings in a locked bag. Tuesday, Schult fought back tears as she explained.
My mother's driver's license, credit card, keys.
Soon, the mother's body was found in the yard and Day was arrested. She faces multiple charges, including kidnapping and premeditated murder.
During an interview after her arrest, Amy does some final digging when it comes to burying herself in her own lies. A detective asks if they will find her DNA on the trash bags used to wrap her mother's body. She confirms that yes, they might. She's handled the trash bags before. When he asks what else her DNA might be on, she lists a few other items.
You told us that your DNA would be on white wire, be on black bags, be on the green and pink sheet, and be on scuffy rope, right? It'd be on tape.
Well, yeah, these things you were asking me whenever I was
No,
out.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
What you told me, right?
Right, whenever
All this, yes.
stuff when I was out,
Yeah,
different things out in the garage.
These are the things that you named off, right?
Right, out in the garage, yeah.
So you named all these off.
I mean, but there's a lot of other things my fingerprints and DNA would be on out there.
No, I understand. But you know that you just named off everything that your mother was wrapped in.
But police hadn't told her that duct tape had been used on her mother's body, nor that it had been wrapped up in a blanket, with rope and a white coaxial cord. This was information only the police and the killer at this point could have known. But Amy still insists the last time she had seen her mom, she was alive, well, and happy. She even said she loved her. Amy takes one more shot at duping the police, and this new story she sticks with to the end.
The truth is, Saturday I was not home. However, I was not in Gainesville. I was with a gentleman by the name of Rocket. Next thing was whenever I contacted my sister, and I did lie to her and tell her that I was getting home a little after around 11:30, 11:35, and I had already been probably home maybe about 15, 20 minutes. And that's when I really did notice in her room that her clothes were gone.
We will never know for sure what went on the night that Ora Lea Hawkins died at the hands of Amy Day. But we can make assumptions, like that when Amy phoned her childhood friend Melissa Smith on Friday, September the 18th, she had already decided to kill her mother, and that she had killed her mother in order to continue draining her bank accounts. Amy's challenge was how to kill Leah while still taking time to make it appear as if she was still alive. During Amy's trial, state prosecutors argued that Amy had kidnapped her mother, zip-tying her hands and binding her arms to her body with duct tape. She had then beaten her until she agreed to phone Judy from the home phone with her bogus story about a 6-month-long trip with the fictitious Rose. When Judy frantically drove over to her mother's house that night, it was merely minutes after that phone call. Amy Day and her mother must have still been in the house. She sat close to the home phone used to make the call, in the darkness, other than the living room light, mistaken by Judy for a nightlight left on by her mother. Amy had kept her victim quiet by violently covering her mouth until Judy had given up ringing the doorbell and had driven away. After 4 days of testimony and just 2 hours, the jury of 10 men and 2 women reach a verdict. Amy Day was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder of her mother and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During her first interview with police, Amy said that only a sadistic animal could do what had happened to her mother, Leah. Perhaps the only truthful words. Amy Day ever spoke. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like the video, comment down below your take on it, and please subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell in order to stay up to date each time we reveal a new shocking case. If you have a case you would like to see given more coverage, drop us a line in the comments. And thank you for your support. We are grateful for every one of our subscribers. And if you're still hungry for more true crime, check out our library. We have dozens of videos sitting there waiting for you. So, until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.